So this video is part one of the enquiryMAX Fleet and Business User Guide or tutorial, and what we're going to focus on here is the account and how you can create the account, maybe attach other accounts to it, and also create a hierarchy of users, from board of directors to maybe a fleet manager to end user to delivery drivers, etc. And the idea of that is you can actually create an account with many different users of vehicles or many different contacts that you need to use within this account. So first of all, creating the account. So you can obviously create a new one, or we can use an existing one. So to create a new one, it's very simple: account name, type, address details, etc. Now I've already started to create one here, so I've got Samsung in here with the email, the website, the business, suppliers of electrical goods is the brief background, and also the owner of the account, which is myself in this case, and any notes. So I've put in there as a note on the account, no opportunity as of the November 2018, and I've put an attachment into it as well, which I can open from here. If I want to add a new one, then I can go in here, add some notes, etc., choose the file and save it. Okay, or I can obviously choose to edit this one so you can see what I've got. So what we're going to go through is we're just going to walk along this line. So into fleet profile next. So I've already started to complete some of this, so we can see how many employees, the fleet size of cars or commercial, the company cars and the opt-out as well. The fleet and business channel. Okay, so we've called this a user end user fleet. It's a national key account, but you have lots of different ones to choose from. All the quotes that they would like to include maintenance into that. So we've ticked the yes box for that. Whether it's gross, net, or an effective tax implications, and then we've got the renewal frequency, the renewal date. If there's a trade-up agreement, if they'd be willing to maybe put more money into to gain a better vehicle, then we can do that as well. Any restrictions? So I've just put that they're only interested in electric and hybrid vehicles. Comparable vehicles, or you could put what they're currently what their current fleet consists of. So in here we've got 5 Series of 3, Model S Tesla of 2. So the potential for us is for them to take 5 Jaguar I-Pace and 10 Transits for the delivery drivers as well. You can add as many as you want to it, and by adding you get the list of all the makes, and if we choose to put in maybe someone's a Panamera hybrid, we can put a couple of them in as well. Okay. So it's very simple to create. Then into company car grade. So we've got the board of directors, the rental target, the quantity of vehicles, the purchasing method. Okay, so we're going to choose that this is a service and maintenance, CO2 restrictions, change cycle and miles as well. So, and we've got the same for deliveries. So in here I'm going to put in a director of 2 Panamera, rental target of 1500. 2 of them, 3 years, and let's say they've 60,000 miles over the 3-year term, restriction of sub 130, and let's say they might do an outright purchase. Okay, so you can pop whatever you want into here, and then we've got an area which is issues. So this one's been resolved. So if I want to put an issue in, previous concerns over delivery debt, and if I save that, so I've now got an issue in here. Okay, everything you do in this page, please do make sure that you save it. Okay, and then if we go back into account info, you can see this account has open issues. So back into my fleet profile, I'm just going to go and resolve that issue. So into here, resolved, sourced So we can resolve the issue. So you can see, because I didn't save my Panamera, they have dropped off. So I will just quickly pop them back on again. So it's very important to make sure you save the records. So okay, there we go. So that's our fleet profile, where you can build up a bit more information about the actual company. Then relationships. So we can choose to assign a contact or create new. So by assigning contacts, you can actually assign contacts that may even be connected to other accounts. The address details doesn't really sit with the contact or the account. It kind of sits between them, so you can sort of steal details from certain areas to populate into either a contact name or an account name, which makes it very flexible. So let's just assign a couple of accounts. So if we just go with, let me think of some people that I can use. So let's go with Bill Yates, who's connected to ASDA. So we'll take him. Okay, we'll give him a job title of he's on the board. His influence is he's a influencer. Function, he's a driver. We're going to copy the details from the Samsung account, so we've got all that in there, and we can set him as a primary contact, but I'm not going to. We're going to create a new one as a primary contact, so we'll save that, and then we're going to assign another one. Let's take Greg Wallace. Job title is he also sits on the board of directors. He's a influencer. He's a driver. Copy the details, and then one more, which we'll put in Ruth Walker. Let's put in board secretary. Okay, and then we'll create a new one. So we'll put in Michael Wells. You can do a lookup, see if there's existing customer already in there. Okay, so we're going to put the customer in. So let's say I've got a different contact number for him. So I'm just going to update that, and I do have a email address for him as well, so I'm just going to put that in there, and we're going to set him as the primary contact. Okay, so by creating the contact, we do need to fill out his GDPR settings. So if we hover over these sections, it will give you a brief description of what they're opting in and out of. You can set them all to yes or all to no very simply, or you can just say, okay, well, let's just take a couple out of there, and then how we actually captured that detail. So we'll click on face-to-face. Then next, so that was the manufacturer GDPR settings, and then the group GDPR settings as well can be set. If you're not part of a manufacturer, then you just have one set of GDPR. Then we can add accounts to this. Now, obviously, you wouldn't generally add many accounts to a business, many other businesses to a business, but it's really useful if they use Lex, or they choose to fund their cars through a different finance house, if you've already got that finance house as an account on there, then you can connect it up. So we'll choose this as the fleet management company, and we'll also add in Barclays as well. Finance company, and see if there's one more that we can choose to use. Halifax. Okay, so you can see how we're just building up the account, putting all the detail in. Obviously, the longer you have enquiryMAX Fleet and Business, then the less you're probably going to have to type, because as your database grows, it will be a lot easier for you to connect different accounts to accounts, or contacts to accounts, etc. So if we go into our opportunities, we don't have an opportunity at the moment, but we're going to create one. So our opportunity name is Samsung Board iPace. Opportunity reference we'll call as Sam iPace. Method of contact we'll mark as telephone to start with. Source is retailer, and closing date, well, we know they want to change their cars by February, or end of Feb, so our closing date is 1 day before, and we'll save that there. Okay, so now we're going to add an inquiry, which is what cars are they interested in. So we're going to go with it's the iPace. Let's go for a high level of spec. Quantity is 5. Actually, we'll put 1, because I want to show you something else when we start to build the vehicles. And then, reference ID 5 order. So that's 1, and we're also going to add another inquiry for the transits as well. Let's go for that one. Okay, so the reason I've chosen 1 is because I want to show you how we can create multiples quite quickly. So we're now into the opportunity, or the inquiry of that customer. So we're now starting to grow here into what we call the breadcrumbs. So if we want to go back to the account, it's here, but we're now into the opportunity, or the inquiry. We're just going to have a quick look at this area. So the vehicles that we're in, if I click anywhere that's in blue, then we can actually go into a bit more detail. So if I click onto this, it will take us into here. So you can see the breadcrumbs starting to build. So we're into how we can actually build that vehicle. Okay. If I click back to this one, you can see it takes me back into here. If I click back again, it will take me back to here. So you can see how we can start to move forwards. Okay. So we're going to build a car for the inquiry. So we're just going to add a couple of extras onto this vehicle. Okay, so we have a clash there where we've tried to add a black exterior pack. So it's saying I can't have this and this. So if I just select that I want to keep that, and then also here must also select black surround. So if I click OK to that, then that will add it in. So it's a little bit of logic in the background whilst building your car. Excuse me. Okay, so we can see there's another one there that we just need to get rid of, so it can be selected, so we want to go with that one, and just ensure that there's no red circles, no warning signs on the rest of the build, and then we can move forwards. Before we do, obviously we do also have a bit of extra information. So we've got the equipment on the car, which tells you what comes standard on that vehicle. We have the technical information as well, which gives you electrical vehicle data, the emissions on the car, engine, fuel consumption. So it tells you a bit of information about the vehicle, turning circle, etc. And we also have a summary of what we've built on the car so far. Okay, and also P11D values for that vehicle. The date change function is so you can actually roll it back to a previous model year. Apologies, that's not working at the moment. We are in a development environment, not in a live one. So when you click onto date change, it means if you're trying to sell a vehicle from stock, for instance, and enquiryMAX is holding the latest pricing of the car, then you can roll it back to a previous release date of that vehicle, which will often change the pricing, can sometimes change the options or the equipment, or maybe the technical spec has changed, maybe the engines had a slightly different CO2 figure or something like that, but it will change quite a lot of the information on the vehicle. Next is retailer options. So if we go into retailer options, and we can maybe choose to add a service plan. So no is you don't want to add it. Yes is you'd like to add it to the quotation, or we can add it to a supplementary order. So if I go with one of them at £750, and accessories, so we've got a fleet pack there, which is, you can see it automatically has defaulted to yes. These are set up in the admin section, which we will come on to on another video. So you can see here that's £50, and then additional options as well. If I'd like to add in maybe another accessory of let's go on a dog guard. Yes to that, and that costs £351. Okay. Then lastly is the deal builder section. So the deal builder is where all the figures come through, and where you can actually start to add your discounts and things. So let's say fleet terms on this, they get 15%. Click update. Okay, and you can see that's the discount. The discount is actually made up of the vehicle base price plus the factory options. So that's 15% of that figure there plus that figure there. Okay. To add different titles for your discount, again, you can do that in admin, which we will go through on another video. And then we can choose to pop in some contract hire figures. So initial payment of 2577 and monthly payment of include maintenance, yes. And then we can add another one in if we want to. So I might go, okay, well, over 30 months we can change it, etc. So just give me a moment. Okay, and then we can put some hire purchase in as well if we need to. I'm going to leave that bit for now. We'll do that one on the transits. So it's going to be invoiced to Lex. It's going to be registered to Samsung, so you can see how my accounts are starting to come in to play. I can add another account here as well if I wish. And then we've got the fleet terms ID, so let's just say it's SAM123. That's been validated. Any offer notes, so decision required by end of Jan, and then we can put an offer valid till, so let's just put end of this year, and then we can choose to upload some files again if we wish, maybe some quotations or something that I might have. so I can put something in there. Okay. Now once I've done that, if I then click save, it will open me another tab here called the offer summary, which if I go into, you can now see all my figures in a slightly different layout. If I then click on draft offer, you can see that it then opens up the opportunity for me to print an offer or a quote. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop there, and you can see that's been drafted, and I'm going to go back into my using my breadcrumbs, and you can see now that this customer, the van opportunity is an AP, which means active prospect. The iPace opportunity is an AO, which is active offer, and I do have the ability here to lost sale that if it doesn't go anywhere and I want to delete it. Okay, or I have the opportunity to copy it. Now we know they want 5 of them, so all we do is just go in here, go 5, click copy. Okay, and we can now see I have 5 identical vehicles. Now they're not all marked as AOs, but they're all exactly the same build. They've got an independent number for each. So for when it comes for me to want to mark these in order, it's a lot quicker. I don't have to build the car 5, 6, 7, 8, however many times. Obviously, if you've got a really large order, then it's really quick to go in and copy all of those vehicles without having to build them over and over again. And the same for the transit. So if we just go into the transit, and we'll skip some of this because we've obviously already done it. So we'll leave retailer options into deal builder. Again, we'll put some fleet terms in there of 21%. It's hire purchase on this one, so we'll put in the rate is 6% flat, cash deposit of 500. Okay, dealer FDA is 0, monthly payment is going to be $398. Okay, and then again our offer details, because they're buying these outright, so we'll put through Barclays. Register is still to Samsung. SAM 456 is our ID. That's been validated. Offer notes and offer valid till. So you can see once you've got the hang of things and you're in the system and using it, it's actually very quick to navigate around. So offer summary is there. So I'm going to draft the offer again, confirm that. Okay, so you can see I can print an offer or a quote, and then I can actually click accept offer there if I want to. So again, I'm just going to go back down the breadcrumbs, and again, if I choose that I would like to copy that, then you can see how much of it I can actually copy. Okay, so it might be 10 of those. Click copy, give it a few seconds. Okay, and we can now see the 10 of them there. Okay, so if we now go through to opportunity info, we can see the vehicles, the opportunity info and the activity and any notes I'd like to put in, and also activity. So this is a new opportunity, so if I click on to action that, okay, I can action the event that I have. I've completed that action. I don't want to close the opportunity yet, and the outcome is proposal submitted. Click save, and we're going to follow it up in a few days' time. If we don't put a start or end time, then it will just sit in as a non-timed event, but I've actually agreed an agenda with this customer to call them at 12 o'clock. Okay, and I think we're probably looking at around about half an hour I'm going to need for this phone call. The method is telephone. The location is an outbound call. The reason is ask for business. Okay, I can choose to email these details to the contact if I wish. I can choose to add some more files if I wish. So I'm going to save that. Okay, and we can now see that that's in my calendar for the 16th of November. Okay, if I want to create another event, then I can choose to create something separate in there as well if I need to do something between now and then. Okay, so you can see we're just sort of working through that journey. We've created the account, we've added all of our contacts to it, we've added an inquiry, opportunity, vehicles, we've stacked some figures against that vehicle as well. We're now just going to finish off the process. We're going to actually say that the customer is ready to proceed with the purchase, and we're going to mark them handover as well, just so you can see how that's done. So if we go back into vehicles, so we can see the AO here. So we're going to go into this one because we've stacked some figures on it. Obviously you need to stack the figures before you get to the accept offer. So if we click accept offer, it now says what's the funding type. So we're going to go with the contract hire. The term is 36 months. Deposit paid is 5,000. Payment method. Estimated handover date is going to be February 28th. Save. Okay, that then gives us another new tab called Order Details, where we have our order form, supplementary, how many copies we'd like, and then we can either download it for printing or we can click email. We can see here the funding details, etc., and the finance the registration details. So if we just choose to, put that to February. Actually, let's go 1st of March. Registration number on this specific car will be AB12. And the VIN number. And order number is, we could call it, let's say, Chairman 1. Okay, so if we save that, we can see that successfully saved. And then if I just quickly show you the order form as well, just so you can see what that looks like. So there's our vehicle order with invoice, register, sales contact, the vehicle, all the figures, the order with the retailer and the factory options on there. This is the order details with the finance, purchase declaration, etc. The Gdpr settings that we took for the group and the brand. So remove that. So if we go now, just make sure we've saved that. Go back down using our breadcrumbs. So we're going to go back into this one. So you can now see that this is actually marked an S, which means it's a sale. And we have this little key here. So this is set to delivered. So if I want to say that that car's gone, I just click onto that, delivered date, click save, and you can see it's now changed to D. So you can see it's I can't now lost sale that because the car has actually been handed over. It's not a live inquiry anymore, and I can't copy it, etc. But that's the full process of the account and the contacts, etc. So in part 2, what we'll be going through is the calendar in more detail, the opportunities, etc. And then parts 3 and 4 will be regarding reports and admin.